Hello and welcome to Winslow Academy. So in this part 4 of our Python cybersecurity, we're going to make a little script that allows us to use a dictionary password attack on our encrypted zip file, which means that we'll be creating a script that uses a pre-made list of passwords to just trying to brute force an encrypted zip file. So first off, we're going to import the zip file library, and next off we're going to create one of two methods. So the first one is the one where we actually tries to extract the content of our zip file, and that will be taking two inputs, so the zip file itself and the password that we want to try to use to extract the file from within the zip file. Next up, we're going to make a try, and then we will just try to say zip file dot extract all, and our input for this is going to be the password that we gave as input. So we take the zip file and we'll try to extract the file from within using this password. And if we succeed, meaning that we will not get any errors, which means that the password is correct, we will just return password, and then we'll make an except saying return, meaning that we'll just return false and nothing if this give any error, and this will give an error every time we try a wrong password. So we'll just make a method now that will allow us to loop over this extract file and try all the passwords from our list. So we'll be making our main method here. Here we're going to say that our set file is equal to set zip file dot zip file here, and then we're going to name the zip file. Now I haven't made the zip file yet, but I will just name it test.zip, and we'll make it in a second. And then we are going to say pass file, which is the file that is going to contain all the passwords that we want to try in our attempt to brute force this zip file, and we'll just call this parselist.txt. Then we will say for each line in our pass file, we want to read the lines, and then within this we'll say that the password of the current iteration is equal to the line where we'll just strip off the new line encoding right here. So this will allow us to take a line and then just skip this new line. And given on this, we'll say guess equals to our extract method here, and then we're going to input the zip file that we have defined right here, and then the password of this iteration. So we'll loop over this for all passwords that are within our password list. Next up, we're going to say if our guess is true, meaning that we have hit this one, so we have been allowed to extract the files, so we have returned the password. If this is the case, we will just print to the console saying that password equals, so we'll just say plus password, and then we'll just break out of the loop after we have executed this if statement and printed the correct password. So now we're actually ready to run our file. Oh, I forgot this. So now we're ready to execute this, but first off we need a password list and we need our encrypted zip file. So first off we're going to create the pass list file list.txt, and in here we can just type any kind of, so we'll say Thomas password 1 pass123 admin, and for now we'll just stick with these four, and then we'll try to run the script without having the right password. But first off we just need to make a zip file, so we'll just say open explore, and it came right here, and then we'll just define a text and call this test, and now I'll just add this to an archive. I will say zip file, so now this is test.zip. If you have some other files that you want to zip, just be sure that the name you give the archive is the same that you described in the list. And we'll just choose the zip legacy encryption. And then we'll say the password is to be test123. Then we'll click OK and zip this file. And now if we open this zip file, we'll see that we can see the file, but if we try to actually open it, we are required a password. And if we enter the password, we are allowed to see it. So test123. And we are allowed to see it. But if we enter a wrong password, we get an error saying that the password was not correct. So now we actually have what we need, except from that the password that we try to use here is not in the right format. So we need to have the right encoding of this input right here. So we will say bytes, and we will take missing S bytes, and then the encoding is to be UTF-8, and then we'll close off this right here. So now I'll try to execute this, and I have already defined that in this if name main that we're going to execute this main method right here. If you haven't done this, you just need to apply this in order to execute it. So we'll run main, and as you see, now we have finished and nothing happened, and that is because we actually didn't have the correct password in our pass list. So our dictionary tag script here just took our 4 passwords and looped over and saw that none of these were returning something that it could use, meaning that our error was cast here due to the wrong password. So we just keep hitting this one here, and we could just, to test this, just say wrong pass, and if you run this again, you see here 4 times wrong pass. And now we'll just stick with this and insert the right password in our pass list. So we will say test123, and now I'll just delete this just to illustrate that it is actually also getting opened when we extract this. So now we only have the zip file, and now we have entered our test123, saved it, so we have 5 passwords. We'll execute this, and as you see, the test.txt file came once again because we were now allowed to extract the file from within the zip file, and as expected, our line right here got executed saying that the password was test123. So if you have an encrypted zip file, then you can try to search online for these password lists. There are many lists out there with several thousand, even millions of different passwords that are popular to use for different accounts. So you can just use these password lists to make this kind of dictionary tag on a file that you have saved on your own machine, meaning that you can try an unlimited amount of time. So it's only up to your computing power. It's basically that which decide how fast and how many times a minute that you can try these passwords. So this was all for this tutorial. I will see you next time here on Winslow Academy.